Hey everyone, I'm Phil Corey, and in this video, we're going to talk about search engine optimization. All right, so what is search engine optimization? Search engine optimization is really quite simply what you're doing as a business owner, as a website developer, or otherwise to get your website up to the top of Google or be more visible on Google search or Bing search if you're using Bing. Bing does accommodate about 10% of internet search right now, so it's certainly something you need to keep aware of, but Google is obviously the big player in the game. So what is it that you need to do to get to the top of Google search? Well, there are a lot of things that you can do, but we try to focus on a couple of the key elements. One of the biggest, and probably we need to spend the most time on as search engine optimizers, is building valuable links back to our website. So what does that mean? That basically is going out and finding opportunities to build links from other websites to our website or our content on our website. So it's a really interesting kind of premise. Why would we want to do this? And the answer to that is pretty simple. We want links to our website because that's how we get ranked in terms of popularity by Google. Google predominantly looks at the number of incoming links to a page and then the popularity of the pages that are sending those links. So what does that all mean? If we break it down, if you go to a very popular website on the internet and that website is sending links to your website, and it's popular by means of it has a lot of people linking to that page, or it's got, let's say it's a CNN or a Fox News or Huffington Post or one of those really big websites that generate tons and tons and tons of traffic, as well as tons of links from other pages. Everybody's linking to an article on, this website or that website or this news website. If one of those sites is linking to your site, and there are some technical things you need to be aware of when they do that, but if one of them is doing that, there's a very good chance that whatever page they're linking to is going to get some really great bumps in its search listing for certain keywords. And that's another thing that we need to kind of discuss is keywords. So keywords, as we knew them in the past, aren't really what they are today. Keywords used to be, I would search, I'd go to the internet and I'd search Google for running shoes or office printer or something like that, and Google would display results for whatever had, was optimized the best. And what a lot of folks would do is they would stuff keywords into their web pages, and all these, pages on their website, they just stuff keywords in, and they put them all the way at the bottom of the page, and they did all these types of really cool but tricky things that it was like, hey, this is what Google's looking for, this is what I'm going to do. That worked for a little while, and then Google came in and literally slapped everybody that was doing that down to probably the 500th page of their search results. So things you need to be aware of, don't do things like that on your website. Don't stuff keywords into your content or your pages, because Google will find you and they will annihilate your website for it. So those are a couple of things, but if we're not doing keyword optimization, then what are we doing? We're actually optimizing our website for searcher intent. What does that mean? Searcher intent, like what is the person searching for? Why are they searching is more important sometimes than what they're searching for. I might be searching for a printer, but for what? Am I just doing printer research? Or am I trying to find the right printer for my office? Or am I trying to buy a printer? Or do I want to know about the history of printers? There are tons of reasons that you might search something. So searcher intent is very important. And then customizing your content. We're kind of going around in a circle here. I'm trying to explain a couple of topics. We started with links coming into your website being very important. Then we kind of got to keywords and searcher intent. And that searcher intent relates to the content on your website. What's the content of your website? Does it talk about, is it a store? Does it sell printers? It might. Is it a historical website talking about the historical nature of office printers? I don't know. That sounds like a really boring website, but it may be cool. I'm not really 100% sure, but that might be the content of your website. There might be, you know, there are various things that you could have a website be about. So you need to kind of be aware of what the content is on your website and what that is geared toward, and then you need to cover all of the angles of that content. So maybe you should be covering on your historical printer fictitious website that we're talking about here, maybe you should be covering the angles of comparing modern printers if that's something that you're looking to draw traffic in from for some reason. Google kind of is going to figure out who's doing what and what's important, and they're going to do a very good job of that. And when I say Google, I mean search engines, Bing included, but for simplicity, let's talk Google. So that's one other big aspect of it. But so the content could be optimized very well, but then we get to this kind of fourth area. So we've talked so far about links, we've talked about keywords and search or intent, we've talked about content, but then we also have to talk about the technical side of your SEO. And you know, what is technical SEO? Well, technical SEO is really where we're talking about how the page is structured and formatted, and how the content and the HTML code that's underlying the content is laid out. And is it done properly? Is it built properly? Is it valid code? Do you have your heading tags utilized properly? Do you have alt text to your images so that when Google is checking your website, it can tell what your pictures on your website are about? A lot of people look over this aspect, and it's pretty important. And SEO as a whole is somewhat important, so you need to be aware of all these different aspects. So those are just four. There are lots of aspects, but it's very important that we just cover, you know, the basics of what you need to be aware of. So those are the things you want to be looking for. One last thing about this topic is black hat SEO. Black hat SEO. These companies that do things, you know, the difference being white hat SEO, you know, a company that kind of plays by the rules. Black hat SEO are companies, you know, SEO companies are companies that don't really play by the rules. They're looking for the quick buck, the easy win, the quick gain, and they're promising probably more than they should be, because they're going to deliver in a very subversive way. And you know, so they might tell you, hey, we'll have you to the top of Google in 3 months, and they may. And I've seen it before. I've seen this happen before, and then I've subsequently seen those websites get blasted to the 550th page of Google when Google went and did their next, you know, algorithm update. So those are things that you really need to be aware of. Be conscious of who you're using to do this work for you if you're not doing it yourself, and be aware of the fact that there are many ways to accomplish this, and some of them are not very good, things that you do not want to be doing. When Google penalizes you, they have a tendency to really bring out a big stick. So be careful. Go out, check this stuff out, learn about it, ask questions, leave comments, share your opinions, share some of your stories with SEO. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comment sections. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm Phil Corey, and we'll see you next time.